Arizona is known for a few things: scalding heat, pretty sunsets, and flexible speed limits. Some may tell you there's not much to do around here, but like anywhere else, all it takes is a youthful heart to find so much more. Across the cities of Phoenix are the nerdiest hobby stores, craziest venues, and soul-filling food stops. The people behind them all have their own stories, and I, Kenny Gondales, want to hear as many of them as I can. They're the hole in the wall, and they're the blockbuster. These are Arizona's finest. What's up, guys? I'm here with Darren, longtime store owner of Imperial Outpost Games here in Phoenix and tabletop connoisseur. Thanks so much for sitting with me today.
Anytime. Pleasure to be talking to you.
So I think it's pretty obvious what this store is when you walk up to it, and even more so when you walk in. But for those unfamiliar, what is Imperial Outpost Games and what does it specialize in?
What is this store? This is the store that I wish I had when I grew up. I grew up in a little town in Montana, and I didn't have a place to come to meet friends who were interested in the things that I was. I didn't have a place to go where I could play games and learn about games. And that's what I built here. I built a place where people can come in, they can meet other people, they can play other people, they can talk to people about their hobbies, they can see new things in gaming, and that's what I've built here. It's a retail store that sells games, but it's also a community center. We've got just as much play space as we do our regular retail area. And to me, that means that we're about bringing people together, getting them at the table, and getting them to have a fun time. We sell fun. That's what we do here.
I think one of the store's strengths is how diverse its inventory is. It's the kind of formation that keeps people browsing. What's your motivation and passion for getting these products into your store, and what's the synergy between them?
One of my biggest things is I want to have a store that reflects the community and my passions as well. I like miniature gaming, so I'm gonna have a bunch of miniature games and all the tools and paints required for that. I like board games, so I'm gonna make sure that I have a wide variety of games that'll appeal to people from kids all the way up to older folks. People who have just got into the hobby to people who have been playing board games for years. When I bring in new inventory, my idea is always, is this something that adds to the uniqueness of the store? Most of what we sell is going to be your mainline games, Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer. But I like bringing things in that will bring people in, that they want to browse my shelves and take a look at what's new, what's odd here. I've never seen this before. Sure, they may end up buying that D&D book, but they've seen a bunch of other stuff that they like too.
So I believe Imperial Outpost is a central hub for gamers and makers alike in the Phoenix area, and is probably responsible for introducing people into the hobby. What makes Imperial Outpost special, and how has it impacted the local community?
It's impacted the local community in a lot of different ways. At least I like to think so. Number one, there's a lot of friendships that have been made here. I know that there's people who probably never would have met outside of a place like this that are now lifelong friends. I know that we've had people meet here, and I know that there's a few marriages that have happened because of here. We've actually had marriages in the store.
What?
Yes, we've actually, I had a couple, they wanted to have their marriage in this store, right pretty much where we're sitting right now. We've had probably 3 engagement parties, I don't know how many birthday parties, at least 5 wakes.
5 what?
Wakes. Where, when someone passes away and their friends want to get together to celebrate that person's life celebrations. We've had at least 5 of those here. There are children that are born that I know exist because of this store.
I thought you were about to say children that were born in the store.
We have not yet had that.
A birth in this.
But I am not going to rule anything out for the future.
Okay.
But no, I
already here first.
I know that there's kids, like I say, that have been born because of this store, where their parents met here. I look at that and I'm proud of what I've accomplished with this, with the community, bringing people together. If you can get someone sitting down and getting them to laugh, you know something about them. And that's what community building is. And I'm proud that what we have here has done that. I'm exceptionally proud of this store for that.
Now, when talking to others about anything tabletop, the first thought that may come to mind is how expensive it is or how skilled one may have to be to actually do it. What do you have to say to those who are dancing around the thought of getting their first plastic kit or a tabletop game?
That's a big concern, and it's something that a person who does what I do has to learn. We have to teach people how the price of the hobby works and how the skill of it works. And one of the things we try to let people know is, first off, no hobby is cheap. There is a degree of sticker shock on many of the prices. I'm not gonna lie, like I say, it's sometimes even when we're pulling out our products to order, we're like, how much is this? We try to couch it in terms of other entertainment. How much does it take to take your family out to a movie? Well, that $50 game is a half of that, and you'll get several replays out of that. So that cost per experience is lower. There's a phrase that Oscar Wilde said, I believe it was him. It says, we know the price of everything but the value of nothing. As far as skill goes, we just have to teach people that everyone starts at the same point, 0. Everyone can learn this stuff. I've seen kids who have some severe ADD issues, or even some autistic kids come in and they've been able to master the rules after a while. And I've had their parents come in and thank me for that too. That's been very rewarding. So these are skills that can be picked up very easily with just a modicum of effort.
Yeah, and whenever I've shown my models or just talked about just the concept of, oh, they're plastic, figures that you paint and they're like this small. And the most common phrases I hear, oh, I don't have the patience for that, or my hands are not that steady. I'm like, neither am I necessarily.
Oh yeah. No, I'm the same way. And you learn techniques to deal with that stuff. Painting for many people can be very, very therapeutic. Put on some good music in the background and you just sit and paint. Next thing you know, 3 hours have passed, you finished 2 miniatures, and you're happy.
It's 4 a.m. and you're like, oh no.
That I've done many times.
Yeah.
There are some people that look down on it, maybe you give it a little bit of a poo-poo, but this is a nationally recognized hobby. We have, people like Vin Diesel and Stephen Colbert and
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. He does Warhammer. Yeah. You have these mainline celebrities that are engaging in the hobby and talking about the hobbies. And that's the most important part. It's not a dirty, shameful secret any longer. But they're talking about what they enjoy, and that's giving it legitimacy in the eyes of the general public. And you have movies, you have all these TV shows. You had Will Wheaton's Tabletop that were going on for some time.
Yeah. Felicia Day, like everything she does is basically based around Dungeons and Dragons or stuff like that.
And then people like the Critical Role folks, all that they've done to help bring more attention to the hobby. When these celebrities do it, like I say, it adds legitimacy to it. It's like, oh my God, I used to mock people like that, but people I like are doing it?
It's not just a bunch of stat-obsessed nerds, like, what?
Well, I know the Green Bay Packers, when they're not playing, they love playing Settlers of Catan. Yeah, they regularly get together and do team games of Settlers of Catan, the board game. So it's all over there. It's all out there.
So over the years, you've seen the rise in popularity in tabletop gaming with platforms like YouTube and Twitch paving the way for creators and gamers of all kinds. What was the tabletop scene like before its inception on the internet compared to what it is now?
The tabletop scene before the internet was a lot more fragmented than it is right now. You had individual pockets of people who didn't really have a ton of communication with each other. But one of the biggest things it did is it made the gaming communities larger and realized that they weren't just little pockets of islands of people, that there was lots of other people out there doing things. In the old days, the most communications you'd have with other gamers was either at a convention, but now you have people making internet videos, YouTube videos, Twitch videos, you have live play happening. And that wealth of knowledge is just amazing. It's really spurred the art form forward. There was another YouTuber who said something that I thought was really interesting, is that every major revolution of an art form is preceded by a technological revolution. You don't get the Renaissance masters until you get the really vibrant paints. You don't get the Beatles until you get multi-track recording. You don't get Jimi Hendrix until you get the electric guitar. And now that we have streaming technology that is reliable, the internet speeds are there, we've seen another revolution of the art form in like the live plays. If it wouldn't have been for that, I think the gaming industry would have been seriously hurt during this pandemic. The pandemic really spurred a lot of creativity amongst people. So that was really, really nice to see. Aside from the obvious, of course.
It is a little unfortunate though, that it took a pandemic to make it more prevalent.
Very, very much so. And my heart goes out to everyone who's lost anyone during this horrible, horrible time. But I'm glad to see that while people were engaged in these struggles, that they used the time to do some good things. And a lot of people have gotten into the hobby just because they saw some internet videos. It's like, why is this all stuff coming across my feed? I might as well check it out. Hey, this looks interesting. So yeah, I've gotten several customers that have come in because they saw videos on the internet during the pandemic.
Now, you've had this store and worked with the people here for so long. How has it impacted your life, and what do you see in its future?
My life is so much richer because of this place. I was doing a job that I really didn't want to do before I opened this place up, and the best people in my life I have met through this store. I have made friends those friendships will last a lifetime. People that I call brother and sister now. It's allowed me to grow as a person and to mature when I needed it. It has, of course, provided a roof over my head, but it gives me the satisfaction knowing that I'm doing something to help people. I'm helping people have fun. Because in this day and age, we need some of that in our lives. And I get to assist in that, and that's such a good feeling for me to have. Where do I see it going in the future? I don't 100% know what's going to happen in the future. But I want to still be here, selling games, letting people come in, play games, and offering a place that the community can get together and be a community.